Hello, my name is Maria. I am 60 years old. I live in a small house with a little garden. Every morning I drink tea and look at the sky. I smile because I have a dream. My dream is to go to Dubai. Yes, Dubai. It is a big city. It has tall buildings, bright lights, and warm weather. When did this dream start? A long time ago. When I was young, I didn't know where Dubai was. I didn't even hear the name. I grew up in a quiet village. There were no tall buildings. There were only trees, fields, and small houses. Life was not easy, but it was full of love. My parents worked hard. I helped them every day. I cooked food, washed clothes, and cleaned the house. We had little money. There was no phone, no internet, and no car, but there was always hope. My father often said, "Maria, you can do many things, just believe." I remember those words every day. One day when I was 25, I saw a magazine at the market. On the cover was a beautiful city. There were lights, water, and tall glass buildings. I asked the seller, "Where is this?" He said, "It is Dubai." I didn't know how to say the name, but something inside me said, "Go there one day." I did not tell anyone about my dream. I was shy. I thought people might laugh. What can a simple woman like me do in a big place like Dubai? But I did not stop dreaming. When did I first talk about it? Maybe 10 years later, my daughter asked, "Mama, what do you want for your birthday?" I said, "I want to go to Dubai." She laughed. "Dubai, that's very far." But dreams can be far, that is okay. Far is not forever. I started learning more. I looked at maps. I read about Dubai. What food do they eat? What clothes do they wear? What can I see there? Every new fact made me more excited. I watched videos online. I saw the big mall, the tall tower, the clean streets. I said, "Maybe one day I will walk there. Maybe I will take a photo at the top of that tower." I told myself, "Maria, you are not too old. You are just beginning." And every morning after that, I looked at the sky and said, "Will this be the year?" Let me ask you something. Do you have a dream? Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? You can start today. You can take one step. For me, that first step was a picture. A simple picture in a magazine, and now it becomes more than a dream. It becomes a plan. Life was not easy. Every day I woke up early. I cleaned the house, made food, and washed clothes. My hands were always busy. I did not rest much, but I kept smiling. I was a mother and a wife. I took care of my family. My children went to school. My husband worked in a small shop. We didn't have much money, but we had love and hope. One night I sat with my husband and said, "Do you think we can travel one day?" He looked at me and smiled. "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Dubai." He laughed and said, "Let's go to the next town first." We both laughed, but deep inside I still wanted to go. Years went by. My children grew up. I worked every day. I made clothes for people. I cleaned houses. I cooked for others. I saved little by little. Then something sad happened. My husband got very sick. I stayed with him every day. I helped him eat. I gave him his medicine. After some time, he passed away. I cried a lot. I felt alone, but I said, "I will be strong." After that, I started saving again. I found a small jar. I cleaned it and wrote Dubai on it. Every week I put coins inside. Sometimes I put 1 coin, sometimes 2. I said, this is for my dream. Many times I needed money for other things. My roof had holes, the fridge broke. My daughter needed help with school. I took coins from the jar. Then I started again. My friends said, Maria, you should rest. But I didn't want to rest. I wanted to move. I wanted to do more. I said, there is still time. I will go. I worked in the morning. I sold bread in the evening. I cleaned a small school on weekends. It was hard. I was tired, but I said, I can do it. One day I counted the coins. I smiled. I was getting closer. I still needed more. But I said, don't stop now. My dream was not gone. It was alive and I could see it. I asked myself, what can I do this month? I looked around. I sold old clothes. I baked cookies and sold them at church. I walked instead of taking the bus. Every little bit helped. So I kept the jar. I kept the hope. I told myself, 1 coin is small, but many coins can buy a dream. One sunny morning, my daughter came to me. She said, Mama, look at this. There is a cheap flight to Dubai. I didn't believe it at first. Really? I asked. She nodded. Yes, it's real. I ran to my jar. I opened it and counted the coins. I was close, but not enough. My heart felt heavy. I needed just a little more. Then something beautiful happened. My daughter gave me a small envelope. Inside was money. She smiled and said, now you can go. I cried happy tears. I hugged her. I said, thank you so much. Soon I bought the ticket. I held it in my hands. My name was on it. It was real. I also had my passport ready. I packed my clothes, my shoes, and one small book. The night before my flight, I could not sleep. I was excited and scared. I asked myself, what if I get lost? What if I do not understand English at the airport? But I told myself, you can do this. The next day we went to the airport. It was big. There were many people. There were many lights and sounds. My daughter walked with me to the gate. She said, Mama, you will be fine. I smiled, but inside I was nervous. I showed my ticket and passport. The woman at the counter said, Gate A4. I walked slowly. My legs were shaking. I found a seat and waited. When it was time to board, I stood up. My heart beat fast. I looked at the plane. It was so big. I walked to the gate. I gave my ticket. The woman said, welcome aboard. I walked through the tunnel and found my seat. I sat near the window. I looked outside. I said, this is real. I did it. During the flight, I looked at the clouds. I listened to the sounds. I closed my eyes. I thought about my life. I thought about my husband, my children, my dream. A flight attendant asked, do you want water? I said, yes, please. She smiled. Everyone was kind. The flight took many hours. I did not sleep. I just sat and smiled. I felt proud. I felt strong. I remembered the jar. I remembered the coins. Every step, every job, every day brought me here. Then I heard the pilot say, we are landing in Dubai. I looked out again. I saw the city, the lights, the buildings. I said, thank you, life. The plane landed. The people clapped. I clapped too. I looked at my daughter. She said, "You made it, Mama." Yes, I made it. Ending message. Now I say this to you. Dreams are not only for the young. Dreams are for everyone. If you believe, if you try, you can do it. Even at 60, even at 70. Do not give up. Start today. Start small, but start. Let's learn English. Let's dream together. Let's go to Dubai.